Hey, what is going on there, Guardians? Evade here and welcome back to Destiny Guides. So today is Tuesday, so that's always the weekly reset for Destiny 2, but today is a little different because we're receiving update 1.2.3. So in this video we're going to talk about everything it's going to bring, things like bounties, 6v6 quick play, all that stuff, and then we'll also dive into the patch notes.
It's got PvP changes that people have been asking for, it's got the raid layer prestige, we've got the summer event that we're shipping.
So let's talk about the Solstice of Heroes. Now it's not available today like you heard me say, but it will be very soon. So you heard that clip I played towards the beginning. Bungie posted a developer insights for this July update as well, and this video is pretty much a summary of that as well as the patch notes. Now for the Solstice of Heroes, once you go into the tower you'll see this statue of heroes which says armor and triumphs. So this is pretty cool because it'll send you to a place in the last safe city where you'll receive a bunch of different challenge missions. So you go through things like campaign missions like they show here, Homecoming, and just a little side note, that would be pretty cool if you can play that with friends because, you know, Homecoming was the first mission that was always a solo experience. But making it more difficult, adding bosses, and allowing us to play with friends, if that's the case, I'm excited for that. So they tell us that, you know, things are going to be different. Although it's the same missions you may play through, there's going to be new bosses, new challenges, and you're going to need your friends to help you out. Alongside with this update is the Moment of Triumph, which we've heard about for a couple of weeks now. So you can see an example here from the Statue of Heroes. This one says Treasure Hunter, collect 68 chests, so all the region chests, and you can also track these on Bungie.net. So completing those will earn you different rewards, things like ghosts, what you see on the screen right here, a sparrow, and even a t-shirt. Next up, they talked about some pretty cool Iron Banner changes. So instead of the normal control flag we're used to, they're now replacing it with this little Iron Banner logo fire thing that sort of ignites in flames when you capture it. So there's going to be wolf signs playing when you capture certain objectives. I believe the zones may lock for a certain amount of time. Just a bunch of different Iron Banner changes to make it feel more like Iron Banner rather than just another game of Control.
Wolves howling when you get a power play. And the big change is when you have a power play, the zones lock for 20 seconds, and so they can't be recaptured. It plays very different. It's a lot of fun.
So definitely a nice roundup there, and I'm so excited to jump into the Solstice of Heroes event, which is obviously free, and all you need is the base game of Destiny 2. You don't need any DLC to jump in. You can start the action with everybody else in the coming weeks. So let's first begin with the roadmap itself. So this is 1.2.3, the Solstice of Heroes update here on July 17th. Now Solstice of Heroes isn't available right away, that's in the coming weeks, but here's what we have to look forward to today. So first up we have 6v6 quick play, a permanent rumble playlist, bounties, expansion 1 and 2 raid layer prestige modes, PC clan text chat year 1 triumphs on Bungie.net, and more exotic armor sandbox changes. So the most notable for me there has to be the 6v6 quick play because it's so much better with 6 players compared to 4, and I'm glad that's finally being implemented. Now besides that, here's a look at the bounties available from Lord Shaxx and other various vendors. Now they talk about this in the patch notes, and here's what they have to say. So 5 Crucible bounties a day will now be available from Shaxx. You also have the same thing from Zavala, except it's 5 Vanguard bounties. These bounties will rotate daily, so change it up a bit, give you some more, bounties to go out there in the field with, but keep in mind that these can expire after you obtain them. The expiration can be seen on the bounties themselves, so it gives you a little bit of a heads up and tells you how much time you have. So here's some examples of those bounties from those vendors, and like I said, those will rotate daily. Next up we have some exotic masterwork stuff. Now before I read those, some of these patch notes aren't that interesting, I might skip over some of them, but I'll try to bring you the most important ones and cover most of it if I can. So the catalysts for the Legend of Acreus, Telesto, and Sleeper Simulant are now available as rewards from the Prestige Leviathan Eater of Worlds, and Prestige Leviathan Spire of Stars activities. Exotic catalysts from Heroic Strikes now have a slightly higher drop chance. I've seen a lot of people complaining about that, so that's pretty cool. The Skyburner's Oath has a higher drop chance in the Leviathan raid, and then the Catalyst for Sturm cannot be found by defeating enemies on Nessus. So next up, here are some changes to these strike modifiers. First, we have Blackout. This now increases enemy melee damage significantly, but is no longer a guaranteed one-shot kill for all players. Under that one, we have Glass. They slightly reduce the health and the shield penalty. And lastly, Grounded. Significantly reduce the incoming damage when you are airborne to account for odd geometry that Guardians may not have any control over. So the goal here is to ensure these modifiers are noticeable, but when Guardians advance their power and stats, they can notice themselves overcoming these debuffs and challenges. Next on the list, we have the Prestige Raid Layers. So each week there is a curated weapon suite and a global activity modifier for Spire of Stars and the Eater of Worlds Prestige. The weapon set and the modifier will be the same across both activities. So the Prestige Eater of Worlds will become available 11 AM Pacific time today, which I'm sure already passed by the time you're watching this, and the Spire of Stars will become available 10 AM Pacific time tomorrow, July 18th, 2018. Now the big thing here for these Prestige modes, you might not even care, but these raid layers will drop weapons of 400 power and exotic catalysts. So if you want to get 400 power before Forsaken releases, this is definitely the activity to do so. And also, completing those two raids is a triumph. You gotta complete the Eater of Worlds and the Spire of Stars. Now me myself, I haven't even finished those. I've been looking at guides and things like that. So why not jump into the raid layers, complete those, get your 400 power, and then knock out those moments of triumph at one time. Pretty good strategy. So here's a look at some of the Crucible changes besides implementing the Iron Banner, things which we talked about. Here are some of the changes to quick play and competitive. So obviously for quick play, they increased the player configuration to 6v6 rather than the 4v4 we've had since launch. They've also updated the Clash win score to 100, the Control win score to 150, removed Supremacy and Control zones are initially neutral now. For competitive, they didn't do much. They updated a playlist description. For Countdown, the bomb fuser timer is lowered from 40 seconds to 35 seconds, and Rumble is now a full-time activity. As far as ranks in the Crucible go, they updated the Valor ranks for competitive, Crucible Labs, and Iron Banner. So it's nice being able to play through Iron Banner and, get your ranks up there as well, especially if you're grinding it for an entire week. You wouldn't be getting ranks before, but now it's a different case. Players will now be matched using their glory rank. This means your opponents will be a similar rank to you, and the higher you climb, the tougher your opponent will be. Now they tell us this is how the system is going to be, and we'll see how that works out, but I want to hear your thoughts on that down below, a glory ranking system for matchmaking. The next big category we have is Eververse for the summer event Engram. Now for the duration of Solstice of Heroes, players will earn a bonus Solstice Engram with each prototype Engram earned through Prestige level up. When decrypting these Solstice Engrams, players will receive new items until they've unlocked all items in the box. Once all items have been acquired, additional Solstice Engrams will reward duplicate items. So this is nothing new, it's sort of the knockout list, so new rewards will become available, and the more you keep opening, the more rewards you're going to get until you've collected all of them. There's also a new item type, which is the most interesting thing here in this whole Eververse section. This is called Armor Glows. Players who earn the Solstice of Heroes armor sets may use the Armor Glows obtained from Eververse or Solstice Engrams. Armor Glows basically illuminate portions of the Solstice of Heroes armor and shine the brightest when the element of the armor glow and the Guardian subclass align. So once obtained, Armor Glows may be used and reused on any Solstice of Heroes armor piece regardless of your class. So this kind of reminds me of Chroma from Destiny 1, where you can customize your armor a bit with different colors, and in this case it's called Armor Glows, and just give you some more customization. So last thing here, they're adding on from what they said with the weekly update last week, the Prismatic Matrix has been temporarily removed and it will return in Season 4. And that, Guardians, basically brings us to the end of this update. Now I did skip over some things like the Exotic Armor Sandbox changes, there's just paragraphs here, and I'm sure you get pretty bored of hearing me read that, but we covered most of the important information in the video. So if you enjoyed, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for some more awesome Destiny 2 news and entertainment. Before I go, I wanted to state this. You may have seen me post in the community tab about this. I'm looking for some more voice actors for my game. Now we've acquired some of the main characters, that's all good, but now we just have sort of some extra roles to fill. Things like some characters dying, a police officer, chatter over the radio, things like that. So if you're interested, the link to the Google Doc is down below, and you can send your auditions to destinyguides@yahoo.com. If you aren't interested in becoming a voice actor for it, or you don't want to try out, I will have a way in the future that everybody who wants to can be in my video game. So make sure you stay tuned to the channel for that, and it's definitely going to be pretty exciting. Anyway, Guardians, thanks for watching. My name's Evade, and I'll catch you all in the next video.